Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Doomed, and today we're going to be taking a look at my incredibly scuffed Diamond Plus Cup. I'm like a week late posting this, and that's because it went so bad that I was just going to scrap all the footage I had. Initially, I wanted to do this in the typical video format where you explain each game as it happens, but between me playing poorly, the queue times being horrible, and it being unlimited games, I really wasn't having a good time with the cup, and I almost quit a few times after I got the glider. But I figured I could use the endgame practice and decided to play the rest of the tourney out, and I'm really glad I did because it showed me just how much I need to improve my endgames. So instead of scrapping the footage, I decided to take a look at my endgames and see what I did wrong so we can learn together. In total, I played 11 games. I died in 3 of those games because I was alt-tabbed and auto-dropped off the bus, and I died in another 5 just due to boredom and playing poorly. So that leaves us with 3 endgames to break down, and I have to warn you, they aren't pretty. So with that being said, let's hop into our first endgame. Oh, and by the way, this is the first time I'm trying a commentary like this, so if you guys have any advice or criticisms, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and while you're down there, maybe leave a like or subscribe. But anyway, let's hop into the first endgame. So in my first endgame here, I'm based up on top of this mountain and zone is starting to pull. I edit out and check my back, and notice this guy is grappling on me. And here's where I make my first big mistake. Instead of just rotating or shooting him once or twice to make him build, I completely stop to fight him on back edge of zone, which puts me in a bad position for my rotate. And now I make another mistake here, which is not blocking my back when I do start to rotate. I kinda got awareness check because I thought he rifted, but regardless I pay the price. Now I'm low health on back edge of zone with someone fighting me. This causes me to panic a bit, miss a grappler shot and get absolutely fried, and then I die to fall down. The takeaway from this endgame for me is to stay front zone, and if I find myself back edge, prioritize getting front before I start to fight. So in my second endgame, I'm based up on this mountain waiting for zone to pop, and I make my first mistake as soon as I start to rotate. When I start rotating, I don't check my right side at all, and this leads to me getting hit for 50 and having to pause on my rotate. If I had taken a good look at my surroundings, I would have known someone was over there and maybe avoided that damage. So I keep going and I make my second mistake as I get into zone. If I stop on the mountain here, I could have a good spot in zone where I can make a play or just have a good vantage spot on the lobby to prepare for my next rotate. Instead, I push deeper into the center of zone trying to fight this guy and end up sitting in this cone for a really long time. By doing this, I'm just wasting resources by fighting and not looking for my next rotate, and this causes me to have a bad rotate, which leads to me dying. So eventually I hear the guy above me get cracked, and I figure this is a good opportunity to go for a refresh. I make a mistake here by not building my angles off while going up. I knew the player who shoots me was there the whole time, and by not building I get beamed, and now I'm in a spot where I have to heal. So once we start moving, I make the same mistake as last endgame and I try to take fights on back edge of zone. By focusing behind me, the player in front of me was able to set up a spot to cut me off, and now my only option is to fight him since I don't have any mobility. Even though I get some good damage on him, I can't make it into zone from my position, and I go down. My takeaways for endgame number 2 are largely the same from the first. Focus on being front edge and not fighting if I'm on back edge, but this game also showed me that I need to have more awareness when choosing a spot to base up while rotating and just throughout the endgame in general. In my third endgame, I make my first mistake by sitting in this box and doing nothing. I'm not scouting my rotate ahead of time, so when the zone opens, I have to just make a plan on the spot and I start grappling down the center of zone. Things are going okay this time until I not only decide to stop in the middle of the rotating zone, but box up in wood as well. Staggering my rotate here to look back for kills isn't the best idea since there's still 30 seconds of moving left and I'm on the congested side of zone. So I should have just kept going and I get punished for both of those mistakes. Now the zone is pushing me and I somehow make it into zone and I try to fight the guy next to me. But I'm literally one shot making all these wide edits and probably deserve to get eliminated here, but luckily he leaves me alone. And I make the same mistake again by just sitting here for way too long, not doing anything at all while I wait to start rotating. Once the rotating starts, I again don't have a plan because I wasn't scouting anything, and I'm just praying no one sneezes on me and I die. By not having a plan, I end up on this congested low ground layer looking for a refresh, where I let zone get on my back and eventually I go down to zone. I should have gotten ahead with my grappler and mats and looked to get a refresh from a position that's more advantageous for me. So my 3 biggest mistakes I identified for my Diamond Plus Cup are 1. Getting caught up on back edge of zone, 2. Wasting a ton of time in endgame by sitting in boxes and not doing anything, and 3. Getting awareness checked. Going into the solo victory cups, these 3 issues are what I'm going to put my focus on, which should allow me to see decent improvements in my endgame play. My first big goal is to qualify for a solo victory cup final, and with 3 of them coming up this week, I have plenty of chances to practice and implement what I learned to get there. So thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a like if you liked it, a comment of any kind, and subscribe. Peace.